Welcome back to TV3, your election command center. Let's do some politics. Now, the Greater Accra region, which houses the seat of government, has this week seen a lot of campaigns from the two leading political parties, the NDC and the NPP. Now, the Greater Accra region is one of the swing regions in Ghana. In the last 6 elections, the NDC has won the region 4 times. That was 1992, 1996, 2008 and 2012, whilst the NPP has won the region twice, 2000 and 2004. Both parties have their eyes set on winning the region on December 7 to make it easier for their victory election this year. Now, let me take you through the Greater Accra region's voting pattern since 1992. Greater Accra in 1992, the NDC, led by Jerry John Rawlings, had over 270,000 votes, representing 53.4%. The NPP was represented then by Addo. He had 188,000 votes, representing 37%. So you can see the difference there on your screen. In 1996, still in the Greater Accra region, the NDC's Jerry John Rawlings had 53.99%, representing 658,000 votes, with the NPP's John Ejekunkufor having 43%, with some 528,000 votes. Election 2000, Greater Accra region, NPP represented by John Ejekunkufor, who won the election. He won with 53.10%, with 580,000 votes. So there you have it on your screens. John Ejekunkufor representing the NPP. J.E.A. Mills representing the NDC also had some votes in there. Now let's fast forward to 2008. J.E.A. Mills, who eventually won the elections, now had 54.46% with 952,000 votes. Nana Akufo-Addo, who was then representing the NPP in 2008, had 45% of the total valid votes cast, with 100,000 votes. Let's get onto the phone lines and do some analysis around this. We've been joined on the phone lines by David Agbe. He is the Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. Good evening, sir, and thanks for your time on News at 10.
Yes, good evening, Edward.
Very well. Now, it looks like the party that wins Greater Accra eventually wins the elections. Do you see same from the your point of view?
Yes, Edward, I must say that, yes, Greater Accra, being the capital of the Republic of Ghana, is a very critical region that all the political parties are concentrating on now. Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo, you realize that he has been, campaigning keenly in Greater Accra region because he has realized that Greater Accra hasn't been a favorable place for him. And so for him to more like prove a point in this critical election, he has to really strategize in Greater Accra region. And you also realize that the current president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has also realized that Greater Accra region happens to be a very strong hold for the NDC, as you just enumerated. I mean, even 2012, you realize that he was able to actually win Greater Accra region. And so he has been intensifying his campaign in Greater Accra region. And I must say that this year election, it is going to favor NDC the more in Greater Accra region, based on some kind of findings that we did in Greater Accra region in June. We realized that all the people that we interviewed, they were talking much about the infrastructure development in Greater Accra. We interviewed a number of taxi drivers. What they told us was the fact that now they have an advantage in that the road constructions has been able to enhance their working, and they enumerated the fact that now they don't normally go to magazine to more like work on their vehicles the more. And so the taxi drivers more or less told us that yes, NDC has a certain advantage. And if you analyze clearly, most of the people that we also interviewed, one of the key things they were telling us was the fact that NDC has actually done a lot of infrastructure development, and which you know, the Rich Hospital is an evidence. If you go to, Legon, it's also an evidence. And so they mentioned quite a number of projects that the NDC administration has done, you know, in Greater Accra. So they feel more excited that the regional capital is more like taking its shape, and the beautification of the capital city is more like, you know, good for the indigenous. So they are quite happy about it. But as to whether it is going to translate into voting in this year particularly is what we cannot tell. But the research that we did, it proved very positive for the NDC in Greater Accra region. But it is very good that Addo has also realized that for him to prove a very strong point, he needs to be able to touch on Greater Accra. That is why Addo is concentrating. Quite recently, you realize that when he went to Kokompe and other areas, you realize that the people over there was more like supporting him, and they were sending a signal to NDC that all is not done for you yet. You need to do more. And so Greater Accra region, as we speak now, it is more towards NDC, but then they need to more like strategize them more if they want to really up their game in terms of getting almost about 55%. They need to really, you know, do intensive campaign in Greater Accra region.
Mr. Agbe, so if you do a trend analysis from 1992 to date, it looks like the NDC has a very strong grip over here in Accra, winning 4 out of the entire elections that have been held in the history of the country. Will you say the NDC still has a very good advantage over the NPP?
Edward, we need to be a bit careful and cautious the more. Don't forget that Accra, Greater Accra, has become more like, it is the capital, obviously, and it is becoming more cosmopolitan. Every tribe, every region, everybody is coming to Greater Accra region now. So it is not like it used to be in 1996, 1992. But quite recently, 2012, thereabouts, you realize that the trend is actually changing, although the NDC won. But many people are coming to Greater Accra region now. And so it is about the fact that if the political parties could up their game in terms of, they quite recently launched their manifesto, but I don't see them, you know, throwing more light on the manifesto now. I mean, both NPP and NDC, I think that they lack the strategical way of, you know, conducting a good campaign to be able to touch the emotions and the heart of the people. I mean, campaign is a very strategic way, and if you do not have the skills, you will talk, you will speak good English, but the English will not actually translate into voting. You need to be able to strategize clearly what message are you sending out there. So one would have expected that now the various, you know, campaign managers will use their manifesto a lot. When they go on the ground, they talk to the people that this is what we have. When it comes to infrastructure, this is what we have. When we come to education, this is what we have. But you don't hear most of those things in the media landscape. So I think that going into this election, the political parties need to use their manifestos very well to be able to speak to the people.
We're grateful for your time tonight on News at 10. David Agbe is Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. He's been helping us analyze the Greater Accra region, where has been a very hot spot for the two main political parties, NDC and the NPP. Of course, the NPP winning 2 out of the elections we've had in the country, and NDC also winning 4 of the elections.